calls himself. Anyway, I've been practicing. The first 4 years, I had a job. I was able to play, and I had met my wife when I was married. I met Sharon. I had an opportunity to go to Texas. I put that down. So back then, I didn't see the potential that I had, and everybody was telling me, "Gee, Todd, you got something." It's like my email address is rockettodd58@yahoo.com. I first gave my name as Rocket Todd because when I get up and play, I'd blast off. I'd start and I wouldn't stop until the end of the song. Well, they eventually told me what you got to do. You just can't do that, Todd, in a band or in an open mic. Unless it's your song and your harmonica's playing all the way through, then yeah, cool. Like Sugar Blue or Billy Branch, you know, all those guys, yeah. So I kept on playing the harmonica, going to open mics, got involved with the new girl I met. We fell in love and everything was good, if you know what I'm talking about. 3.5 to 4 years later, we got married, and 4 years later after that, I divorced her. Eventually fell apart. Won't get into that, but it just did not work out, and that's the best thing I could ever do was to get a divorce. More blues, more blues. My brother and other friends told me, "Todd, you know, you can write songs about your broken marriage, you know. She done you wrong. Bye-bye Birdie, bye-bye Sharon." Actually, that's where that the first clip from, the one that you probably heard, "Merry Christmas everybody," you did that, "Bye-bye Birdie." That's Bye Bye Birdie by Sonny Boy Williamson, but it's nothing like his lyrics. I put my little knowledge up and what I remember from my broken marriage, my blues, brought that up. You know, it was fun. The words just came out, you know. I'm more or less a soloist. I can get up and just play the harp. I can make up melodies and stuff. There was another place that I went to after when I had moved up here. I got divorced and I had nowhere to go. Eviction, 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 you know, it just wasn't doing any good. I'd come home and give my money to the wife, you know. "Here you go, honey," you know, "pay the rent." You know, 6 months later, get an eviction notice. Move into another place. A year later, eviction notice. Anyway, I think we all know about that, most of us. So, it's on the rocks. Halfway through that, it was in like 2001. A friend of mine took me up to Buddy Guy's in Chicago. And Little Arthur Duncan was playing there, and he wanted me to get up and play with Little Arthur Duncan because his best friend was covering for Little Arthur Duncan, the cover band, you know. Anyway, I talked to Little Arthur, and he told me he would go talk to the house, and he came back and said, "I'll give you a try." I took a couple pictures. I've lost those pictures, but I got a standing ovation in both those songs, just playing harmonica, both playing off the D harp. And they did kind of like a fast Mississippi blues kind of like thing, you know, blues shuffle. Little Arthur Duncan told me, "You can follow me to all my gigs and I'll let you do two songs. Get you two turns. You know, you can follow me no matter where I go." Well, at the time I was driving a beat-up pickup truck that would only do 45, 50 miles on the interstate. Beverly Hillbillies, you know, with Jed Clampett going down. I hit a bump and the darn front end would almost shake so bad that I thought the front end was going to fall apart. Well, I couldn't make it. I did make it out to Oraggio's in Naperville. Went out there several times. With the marriage being on the rocks, I only made it out there twice to see Little Arthur, and stole the show. The first time I did 2 songs, the place went nuts. And the second time I went, there was another cover band there. The leader of the cover band came up to me and said, "Give me the mic." And I said, "Well, Little Arthur said I could do another song." "Give me the mic." Little Arthur walked by me and he winked at me and he told me, he goes, "You did it again." I need to get a hold of that guy. Little Arthur, if you're out there, I love you, and we're definitely going to be looking you up. I have your number here. I just got to give you a call, see if you're still around. Lord willing, you are, and you're healthy. After that, the marriage, I got my street performance permit in my vending license in Chicago, and I was out there, sick looking, skinny. That was bad. I was playing my harmonicas on State Street, Michigan Street. I was playing it around down by the subways, but with no mic and no harmonica. Finally, one guy came up and told me if I had a mic and an amp, people would actually come by. He goes, "I thought you were faking it, you know." He came by, he goes, you play good." And I was actually at the Blues Fest in 2001. I signed up for one of the street performer locations there. And there I was, standing in the sun, playing the harmonica with no mic and no amp. One lady came up to me and she pointed at my arms. My arms were cherry red. But a few people came up to me and told me the same thing. You need a mic and an amp. You really got something. I got a lot of compliments, but I wasn't listening to what the people were saying. So, life fell apart. My wife left me. Doctor, came up there telling my wife, "You got to take care of him." Well, when the doctor left, she kissed me on the cheek and said she'll be right back, and she never came back. I called and called and called. More blues. So, I had no choice but to call my family up, called my mother, and she moved me up here to Waukegan. And laser surgery, kidney stones, whatnots, alcoholic DTs, yep. Wasn't fun. Wasn't fun. I thought things were crawling all over me. But anyway, I got well. I got well. And eventually I finally found a job. And this was really cool. It was a dishwashing job. It was the only thing I could find. The executive chef was the drummer of 16 Candles Band, the 80s tribute band, the greatest 80s tribute band, I'd say, in the United States. Well, they say in the Midwest and Chicagoland, but I say they're the best. Best guys. Chris Hagen. I ended up auditioning with him on my break in the kitchen. A couple months later, I find myself being a designated driver for the band, roadie, and then I found myself playing Karma Camille by Boy George for the band. I was an honored guest. Honored guest, designated driver and roadie. The people loved it. I got to play harmonica, playing that song at the Cubby Bear North in Buffalo Grove. Cubby Bear in Chicago, at Wrigley's Field, Cubby Bear. Dirty Nellies, I remember one time there was over 900 people. I played in front of 900 people. And other places like Bourbon Street, I forget what town that's in. I think that's in Schaumburg. I think that's maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can write it down in a little post there when you're done with this. And yeah, and they're all saying, Chris Hagen and Chris and Dave, the guitar player, the bass player too, the keyboard player, everybody in the band, they're all telling me that, well, they spoke to Chris, and Chris talked to me, and he's like, the guys say that you really have something, but they don't think that you really want to see that. He asked me if I was scared of success, and I told him, yeah, that's it. So I worked on that. I concentrated on that, I prayed on that, and just kept on playing my music. I again got involved with some other open mics up here in Waukegan. There was a comedy club that had an open mic on Thursday nights. My first night when I went out there, I got up on stage and I just unloaded everything and the kitchen sink. When I got down, they asked me if I wanted to open up for their next show coming up in July. That was in 2007. That was come on. Charles Wilson, I have my notes down here. Charles Wilson from Texas, a blues and jazz artist. I got up to do one song. I did my Melody Man song. And that was it. I started going to open mics there. I had a lot of broken promises, but I did that open mic there for like about 2 years. I got involved with the Troubadours in 2009. I almost made it, almost got my picture in the paper, but for some reason it rained that day. But I was the first musician that they had written down in the paper.